Good day, everyone. Today, we will be discussing the topic information technology and supply chain. And I decided to record this discussion because of the delay in our schedule due to some of my due to some of personal reasons. So let's talk about the topic information technology and supply chain. We know that in any supply chain, whether it involves manufacturing a product or transporting goods or delivering services, information is one of the most powerful resources we have. It actually acts as the foundation for every decision that supply chain managers make. Without accurate and timely information, companies cannot plan properly, they cannot respond to customer needs, or they cannot manage their operations efficiently. So, this is where information technology plays a vital role. Information technology includes the tools, the systems, the software that allows us to collect information, to understand those information, and to use them effectively. So these tools actually help managers basically monitor inventory levels, track shipments. They can forecast the demand, communicate with suppliers, coordinate activities across different parts of the supply chain. So now in this lesson, we will be exploring why information is important. We also have to understand how it is used at different stages of the supply chain and what technologies help organizations improve their performance. So the end of the lesson, you should understand how information technologies enables better decision making, how they can reduce uncertainty, how they can increase efficiency, and how they can help organizations deliver products and services more effectively to the customer. So now let's talk about what am I expecting from my students at the end of the discussion. Of course, I'm expecting that you can understand the importance of information and information technology in supply chain. At the end of the discussion, I'm expecting that you can already understand and you already know the high level or at a high level how each this supply chain driver use information. And at the end of the discussion, I'm expecting that my students can already understand the major application of supply chain information technology. So let's proceed to the idea that we have here on the information technology in a supply chain. And why is it one of the most powerful drivers of business success? Of course, we have to remember that information is considered as the lifeblood of any supply chain. Think of it as the link that keeps all parts of the supply chain, the suppliers, the manufacturers, the warehouses, the transporters, retailers, they are connected and coordinated. Without accurate information, companies cannot plan their production, they cannot manage inventory, or they cannot meet customer demand effectively. This is where information technology comes in. Information technology provides the systems, the tools, and the software that allow the business to gather the data or analyze it or act on it. In other words, information technology serves as the eyes and the ears of management because they help the managers to see what is happening across the entire supply chain and they make the right decision at the right time. So let me give you a real business example. Amazon, real-time inventory and order tracking. So Amazon uses advanced information technology systems. I have been telling you this during our discussion face to face. To monitor inventory level, Amazon uses advanced IT system. It is in real time across hundreds of warehouses. So when you place an order, Amazon's information technology system instantly checks the nearest warehouse. They select the fastest delivery option, triggers packing and shipping. So this allows Amazon to deliver millions of packages quickly and accurately. Another is Walmart. There is data sharing with suppliers. So Walmart shares its sales and inventory data with suppliers like Procter& and Gamble. Because through that, an IT system called Retail Link, no, because suppliers can see what is selling and where they can restock products automatically in that case. That reduces shortages and avoid excess inventory or overstocking. Another is Toyota. Of course, supply chain coordination. Toyota uses information technology to track parts from the suppliers worldwide. So If a supplier faces delays, let's say for example, Toyota systems immediately alert the managers. They would allow them to adjust the production schedules and avoid shutting down assembly line. These examples that I have mentioned, like Amazon, Walmart, Toyota, they are providing visibility in terms of customer demand. They actually help monitor inventory levels. They support decisions about production and shipping, and it enable faster, more coordinated responses across the supply chain. So what can we say? Information technology makes modern supply chains smarter, faster, and more reliable. So it allows businesses to compete in a world where customers expect speed, accuracy, and convenience. So to support effective supply chain decision, we have to remember that information must have the following characteristics. Information must be accurate, accessible, relevant, and shared. The question would be how information actually supports decision making in supply chain drivers. Of course, we have here the facility. Well, we can say that information, technically speaking, helps companies decide where to build the factories or the warehouses, how big it should be, and when they should operate. So they need the data about demand, about taxes, labor costs, land costs, exchange rates. All of these are very important information. So Unilever uses sales and demand data across Southeast Asia to decide where to place a new distribution center. If demand in the Philippines grows, they will be building a warehouse near Metro Manila so they can reduce delivery time and cost. Inventory is another factor that must be considered as a driver. Inventory, because companies need accurate information about the demand trends, ordering cost, and the risk of running out of stock. So this actually allows them to set the right amount of inventory. It is not too much, it is not too little. Zara, they are using this real-time sales data from its stores to adjust inventory orders. So when a certain fashion designs like, clothes, they sell fast. Their system alerts the production so they can replenish quickly, so they can avoid stock out, so they can take advantage of the opportunity to earn profit. Another driver is transportation. So decisions on the best routes, shipment sizes, transportation modes, couriers require information such as delivery costs, customer locations, travel time. Shopee, of course, they are using this delivery data, customer address clusters, the rider availability, traffic patterns to plan daily routes. This improves delivery speed and reduces fuel cost. I think this is one of the problems that I have encountered this week because I had this delivery and it was delivered after a week. It just came from Metro Manila, I believe, but then because the LBC, they lack the number of staff, meaning to say they just have to outsource some of their staff from Metro Manila because they have lack staff here in Nueva Ecija, then there is a delay in the delivery. Another is sourcing. Choosing your suppliers require information on product price, quality, lead time, reliability, and even supplier performance. Apple, okay? It evaluates suppliers like Foxconn using detailed data on defect rates, of course, production speed, cost efficiency, because this information will help Apple to choose the best supplier mix for each component. And another is pricing and revenue management. To set the right price, you have to remember that the companies need to, to create a cluster information about customer demand, the willingness to pay, the inventory level, the product availability. Airlines like Cebu Pacific, they're using the demand data to adjust the ticket prices. So when the demand for flights during holidays increases, the system raises the prices automatically. That's why if you're going to book your flight during holiday seasons, of course, you have to remember you must expect that there is an increase in the prices because customers are willing to pay more during this season. So let's talk about the supply chain framework. Of course, the supply chain information technology framework describes how technology supports the big overall activities called supply chain macro processes that run the entire supply chain from the start up to the end. So the macro processes, it actually helps the company manage the flow of goods, information, and money efficiently. There are five main macro processes. And these are what we call planning. You have to decide what to produce, when and how much to produce. And sourcing, you need to choose your supplier, where to buy your materials, making, producing or manufacturing the product, and of course, delivering, which includes transporting your goods to customer. Returning is another factor that must be considered in the framework because it handles the product returns or exchanges, like, of course, in technology like ERP systems, inventory systems, tracking software. Those are the technology that can make these steps faster. It can make them more accurate and more efficient. For example, Coca-Cola. Who doesn't love Coca-Cola? Of course, everyone loves happiness. So you have to remember the idea here is very important, that when you start with planning, you need to use this, or Coca-Cola uses IT systems that analyze the sales data from thousands of stores, and this helps them decide how much soda to produce each week. Sourcing is another, and they are using supplier chain management software to evaluate the sugar, the bottle, the packaging suppliers based on cost, quality, reliability, making the Coca-Cola products, the production plants to use the automated systems, like they need to track mixing, bottling, quality control, and ensure consistent product taste and safety. Delivery. Coca-Cola uses GPS, of course, and route optimization software because they really have to plan the delivery truck routes in order to save the fuel and ensure on-time delivery to their retailers. And the last one is returning. Retailers report damage or expired products through Coca-Cola's digital return system. So they have this digital return system which allows quick replacement and refund processing. So let's proceed to, of course, customer relationship management. What does it mean by customer relationship management? It refers to all the processes that really helps the business create demand. Of course, communicate with customers, they take orders, they keep their customers satisfied. It covers everything that happens between a company and its customer in the downstream part of the supply chain. So if customer relationship management processes are weak, customers may lose interest, orders may get delayed, and overall satisfaction drops. So a good customer relationship management system makes all customer related processes smooth, from marketing up to customer service. Example is our favorite fast food chain in the Philippines, Jollibee. Imagine Jollibee, a popular fast food chain in the Philippines, using customer relationship management to manage its relationship to customer. So the marketing aspect is, this is how it works. Who the target market is. Of course, families, students, what products they're offering, Chicken Joy variants, and how to price them. Could be, of course, it could be buy one, take one yum burger. A customer relationship system collects data from the past sales. They get customer feedback and, of course, the buying patterns. If Jollibee analyzes ordering habits on its app and sees high demand for spicy items, they will be launching, let's say, spicy Chicken Joy promo, targeting those that are using the app. So good customer relationship management analytics help them choose the right customer, the right promotion, and the right timing. Sell process. This is where the actual sales happen. For Jollibee, the website and app must show the right menu items. The customer must be able to customize orders. It could be extra rice. There will be no gravy or sauce. The system must show accurate delivery times. So Jollibee's customer relationship management really supports the crew and online ordering system by showing estimated time of delivery, product availability, customers' past orders, because it could be their basis to recommend their favorites. Good customer relationship management makes selling easier and it increases the likelihood of a purchase. Another is order management. So once the customer orders, the system must track and process it correctly. For Jollibee, customer relationship management, they sends the order to the correct branch. Shows customer real-time status. It could be order confirmed, being prepared, or out for delivery. It helps the store plan cooking and delivery schedule. This actually connects the customer demands with the store supply. So if order management fails, customers experience canceled or delayed orders. And of course, we have the call or service center. This is where customers go for help. For Jollibee, there is a hotline or chat support assist customers with problems when it comes to their orders. So customer relationship management automatically routes calls to the right department. Customer service can quickly see order history and status. For example, if a customer calls to report a missing item, the agent immediately sees the order details and they will be arranging a quick resolution on that matter. So now let's deal with internal supply chain management. Okay, internal supply chain management, of course, it refers to everything that happens basically like inside the company to plan, to produce, and deliver the products after customer places an order. So we just want to make sure that internal operations like planning, production, inventory, delivery work smoothly so the customer's orders will be fulfilled efficiently. If internal supply chain management is weak, the business may run out of products, they are producing too much, or there is a late delivery. So example is San Miguel Food and Beverages Incorporated or Beverage Incorporated. So strategic planning of such, for example, the production and distribution of Magnolia Chicken or the Pure Foods products. This is where the company designs its internal supply chain. So for San Miguel Food and Beverage Incorporated, strategic planning will include or it includes deciding where to build the poultry farm, where to process the plants, and where warehouse. Of course, we have to determine how big this facility should be, planning production capacity based on the projected demand, and these long-term decisions ensure the company can supply the products nationwide. And in terms of demand planning, this is the process of predicting how much customers will buy. San Miguel Food and Beverage Incorporated, they really forecast weekly and monthly demand for chicken, hot dogs, canned meats. They check the effects of promotion. It could be holiday bundles or the review seasonal patterns like higher demand during Christmas. Well, anyway, Christmas season is coming. Accurate forecasting prevents shortages and, of course, overproduction. Supply planning. This is the process that uses demand forecasting from demand planning and of course available resources, plants, workers, equipment. Then it creates the best internal plan to meet the demand. So for San Miguel Food and Beverage Incorporated, they have to schedule how many chickens to process each day. They will be planning raw materials, the seasonings, the packaging, the feed, of course, allocating production across multiple plants, setting inventory level for each product in the warehouse, and the supply planning software will definitely make sure the company minimizes the cost while meeting demand. Fulfillment, once the supply plan is ready, execution begins. Like for the San Miguel Food and Beverage, it means you have to assign customer orders from supermarkets or wholesalers to the right warehouse. So the planning delivery routes, managing your trucks and drivers, you have to make sure the products are kept in correct temperature. It could be cold chain, and this stage uses transportation management system and warehouse management system. Lastly, the field service. Like after the product is delivered, servicing still happens, especially for equipment or machinery. Example, for San Miguel Food and Beverage, the refrigerators or freezers, they are placed in partner stores and it needs regular maintenance. So they must keep spare parts ready. So they have to schedule technicians that would visit the stores for repairs, and this will make sure that the product is with good quality and it could strengthen business relationship with different retailers. All right, so let's continue our discussion with, of course, supplier relationship management. Of course, supplier relationship management refers to all the processes that helps the company manage its relationship with the supplier. So those that are providing raw materials, components, or services, and it focus on activities upstream in the supply chain. So the supplier relationship management, it works closely with internal operations because a company cannot plan production well unless it knows its suppliers' capabilities, the lead times, and constraints. So example is Toyota, and it has many suppliers who really provide parts such as engines, electronic components, tires, and steel parts. So supplier relationship management helps this company, Toyota, namely, to collaborate effectively with these suppliers to ensure that there is high quality, reliable delivery, and cost efficiency. So they start with design collaboration. This is where Toyota works together with suppliers. Of course, it is very important to design components that are easy to manufacture. Of course, it has high quality. It is common across multiple models. So Toyota and its seat supplier co-designed a new seat frame that fits several models like Vios or Innova because they really wanted to reduce the cost and simplify the production. So they designed software that lets Toyota and suppliers instantly share their new engineering design, the changes in the part specifications, and updated measurements of these materials. And this prevents delays when multiple suppliers are already developing parts at the same time. Source. This is the process of choosing and evaluating your suppliers. So the Toyota company uses source software to qualify new suppliers. They have to compare lead time, price, quality, and reliability. They also have to track contracts and analyze how much is spent per supplier. So Toyota evaluate two brake suppliers. It could be supplier A, cheaper but has longer lead time. Supplier B has a higher price but fast delivery. So using your supplier relationship management, you have to remember that Toyota chooses the supplier that gives the best balance of cost, quality, and reliability. Another, negotiate. It involves sending requests for quotes or conducting digital auctions. You negotiate with the price, delivery, contract terms. So supplier relationship management systems automate, of course, this request for quotes, the bidding, the contract creations, and of course, buy. This is where actual purchasing happens. Supplier relationship management by software creates the purchase orders, it tracks the approval, it automates purchasing steps, and it ensures timely ordering. So when Toyota's inventory of steering wheels drop below at a set level, the system automatically sends a purchase order to the supplier. No need for manual paperwork. So this is how important information technology is. And it reduces delays and administrative costs at the same time. And of course, supply collaboration. After contracts are signed, Toyota works closely with suppliers to plan production and inventory. And supply collaboration includes you have to share the demand forecast, you need to share the production schedule, and joint inventory planning. So Toyota shares its monthly production plan with their tire supplier, and the supplier adjusts its manufacturing schedule. It is based on Toyota's forecast because they wanted to make sure that the tires arrives just in time for assembly. Okay, so let's proceed to transaction management foundation. In the early 1990s, business software focused mainly on automating basic transactions. So things like recording sales, updating inventory, issuing invoices, tracking payments. This foundation was called the Transaction Management Foundation, and it was the starting point for more advanced supply chain application that came years later because almost all companies needed systems to automate transactions for these tools grew rapidly. So this helped enterprise resource planning giants like SAP. It is a German company or software company founded in 1972, and it became a global leader in enterprise resource planning by offering highly integrated systems that support finance, operations, and supply chain processes. We also have Oracle, like founded in 1977 in the United States. It grew from a database company into a major ERP and cloud provider known for its robust enterprise application and strong analytics capabilities. We also have Sage, a UK-based company that is established in 1981. And because it became widely used by small and medium-sized businesses for accounting and ERP solutions that are simple, affordable, and scalable. Infor, formed in 2002 in the United States, it specializes in industry-specific ERP systems tailored to manufacturing, healthcare, and distribution sectors. And of course, the very famous Microsoft, through its dynamic ERP and CRM product lines, Microsoft expanded from general software to enterprise solutions, offering user-friendly and cloud-integrated system built on its global technology ecosystem. However, as businesses grew more complex, simply automating transactions was no longer enough. Companies needed help with better decision making across the entire supply chain, such as, of course, forecasting, planning, customer management, supplier collaboration. This led to a shift. ERP systems started evolving into the system that supports the three major chain macro processes. Of course, customer relationship management, internal supply chain management, and supplier relationship management. Because ERP systems already connect many parts of the business, they have a big advantage. They can integrate the processes across the whole supply chain, not just with one area. This integration actually helps the companies to avoid the silos where departments work separately and information gets delayed or lost. So the goal of modern information technology system is coordinate all decisions from customer order to production plans to supplier deliveries so the entire supply chain works together smoothly. All right, so let's proceed to the last slide. As you can see, the table shows how major processes or how major process areas in supply chain are grouped into three integrated management blocks. Of course, we have the SRM, the ISCM, and CRM. We know the customer relationship management, CRM, the SRM supplier relationship management, and ISCM internal supply chain management. So as you can see, the supplier relationship management, of course, it covers processes that manage the firm's upstream relationships with suppliers. Design collaboration, you have to work with suppliers on product and component design. Source, it means identifying, qualifying the potential suppliers, negotiate with them. Contracting, pricing, terms, setting with suppliers, and of course, by executing purchasing transactions and replenishments. And of course, there is supply collaboration because there is an ongoing coordination of supply schedules and performance with suppliers. We also have internal supply chain management, which represents the firm's internal planning and execution of the supply chain. Strategic planning, it means long-term capacity, network, and policy decisions. We also have demand planning, forecasting and aligning demand with internal plans, supply planning, translating demand into production, inventory, procurement plans, of course, fulfillment. You need to execute your orders, warehousing, and distribution. And field service. After sales service, installation, maintenance, returns, and of course, customer relationship management, which focuses on the downstream processes that manage relationships with customer market, like marketing, promotions, customer segmentation, sales activities, and customer acquisition. Call center, meaning to say you have your customer support will answer inquiries, problem resolution. Order management, you need to do your capturing, tracking, managing customer orders. And of course, you have to remember that the transactional management foundation is the shared transactional infrastructure at the bottom. So it provides the common data, IT systems, and the basic transaction processing that support and integrate. Of course, we have here the supply relationship management. We have the supplier relationship management, the internal supply chain management, and customer relationship management activities across the entire supply chain. I think that concludes our discussion with lesson number 6, and this is the last discussion that we have before our final exam. And I think that concludes our discussion. God bless each and every one of you.